Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Fighters don't want to be sued. Pretty damn simple. Now, make sure you like and subscribe. Leave that donation for that fried rice and chicken wings. Look, man, when a fighter is in training camp, right, they don't want to be outsped. And if someone can outspeed them, they try to figure out a way to nullify it and time them. They don't want to be outpowered. If they got someone out there they know has heavy hands, heavy power, they try to figure out how they can box intelligently and avoid the big right hand, left hook, whatever shot they're throwing. They don't want to be IQ, so sometimes you see they'll bring another trainer on in a consultant capacity to give them the best chance on winning the fight. But once the fight happens, no matter how nasty the buildup was, how clean the buildup was, how professional the buildup was, most of the time, at the end of the fight, fighters shake it out, good fight, or they don't, and they look to fight again, or their careers, continue. They travel different paths, whatever it is. But you don't see fighters in training camp worrying or training to not get sued. And I just think when it comes to Devin Haney's situation, the more I think about it, they probably got some fighters out here saying, man, I want to fight this guy. What's going to happen if I get in there? And I put the bing-bings on him. Without testing positive for anything like Ryan Garcia. What, he going to sue me now? Let me tell you. It's something that I used to hear growing up as a kid, man. My dad and the West Indian cats used to be like, yo, don't go places you don't belong. And I totally understood. Why would you go somewhere where you know it's going to be a problem? You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to deal with the bullshit. You don't belong around that if you can't handle it. And when I look at this situation with Devin Haney, I think some of these fighters, maybe a lot, are saying, I don't belong around there in the ring with that guy because I don't want to deal with possibly being sued because I whip his ass, or accidental headbutt, or, I get rough with him and throw him down. Because in boxing, it's a lot of dirty tactics. It's whatever you can get away with in the ring. If the referee allows you to do it, then you should do it until the referee penalizes you, tells you stop, or you get disqualified. Now, I'm not saying fight dirty, but we know in boxing, it happens, right? Good example of someone who filthy as hell now is Daniel Dubois. He is a pig in the ring. Just watch what he does. He's horrible. Tyson Fury, horrible. But that being said, I can only imagine now if a fighter was to face Devin Haney and decided to fight Devin Haney the way Tyson Fury fought Deontay Wilder in that second and third fight. Very physical, using his forearm, using his elbows, headbutting him, doing all kind of dirty shit, punching him behind the head. I can only imagine. And if Devin Haney were to lose to a fighter like that, the consequences the fighter would have to face for getting in the ring and, although fighting dirty, finding a way to be victorious could be a lawsuit. Nobody wants to deal with a lawsuit, man. Especially when you may be innocent, but you got to pay these lawyer fees now. No one wants to deal with that. Even if you win the case, just to go through that. That shit is mentally draining. And once your mind goes, then it affects you physically. Then the body goes. And when all that starts happening, then spiritually, emotionally, everything starts to be affected, man. So just me looking at it, I'm scared to do a Devin Haney video. I mean, shit, he may sue me. But in all seriousness, I just think Devin Haney and his pops can do what they want. But as I sit back here just trying to kind of brainstorm and try to understand, what could be the reason fighters are saying, hey, Devin Haney can target a comeback, but he better not be targeting no comeback against me because I'm not fighting him. Is it because Devin Haney doesn't really bring that much money to the table? Because right now, Devin Haney, he's a name, but no one really takes him serious anymore. He doesn't have titles. What does a person gain by beating Devin Haney except for saying, hey, they beat a guy who's a former undisputed and who's a 2-weight division champion? But really, he's a guy that not many people think. They don't rate him. They don't think he's that great of a fighter. But that's just them being haters. Devin Haney's a great fighter. He's a great fighter. But when you look at it to some of these boxers, and if it was me, it's like, why would I go fight this guy? I'm not getting a belt. The money ain't gonna be that good because nobody wants to get behind him anymore. I beat his ass and I get sued. Like it's the reward isn't worth the risk. You know what I'm saying? But I'm curious to see what happens with him going forward and different fighters. Now, some people could say fighters are saying that they don't want to be sued. That's why they don't want to fight him. And they're just putting duck sauce on the fried rice because they're afraid Devin Haney with his long arms and reach and speed and boxing IQ, that Devin Haney will get in there and, basically outpoint him. And there's probably a whole lot of truth to that too. But at the same time, I'm going to tell you, like when I was younger, right? I can remember, man, there'd be this chick. Let me give you a true story. There was this chick, right? Real nice looking, man. And there's a lot of guys used to be coming at her. A lot of guys. And she wouldn't mess with them. She's just very particular. She wouldn't mess with them. Nobody was able to get through. And she and I became friends. I never pushed up on her, nothing. We were just friends. And she started showing interest in me, right? And I just kept it as friends. I was tackling her friends because she has some nice looking friends. I was like, nah, we're friends. You keep bringing your friends over. Anyway, right? Let me tell you something. She started messing with a friend of mine. I put a friend of mine on her. He was a good dude. Anyway, what ended up happening, he didn't want to deal with her no more. He told me, hey, man, she'd be arguing too much and shit. I'm like, all right, well, it didn't have nothing to do with me. He knew she and I were friends. I'm like, that's you all's thing. Anyway, she came to me and she was like, I need to talk to you about your friend. I'm like, what's up? I was like, I'm not getting involved. That's between you all. She was like, he raped me. And I was like, what? And I was like, okay. I just let her talk. And I was like, look, now I'm in a bad position. I'm like, you got to report this shit. But that's my friend. And he's not that, I don't know him to be that kind of person. You know what I mean? He was actually shy. So when she said that, I was like, okay, now me being a man, I'm like, hey, he just don't want to talk to her. And the chick is out here flipping out. But then I'm like, man, what if something bad happened? That's somebody's daughter. That shit ain't cool. So I called him. Because that was my friend. And I said, look, man, this is what this chick just said. And he was like, man, I didn't do anything like that, man. And then this is what he told me. He was like, I told her I didn't want to talk to her. So the last couple of days, she's been calling me. So she wanted to meet. I went to meet with her. She wanted to have sex with him. And he was like, no. And she got rejected. And then that's what she said. He raped her. Anyway, long story short, nothing came out of it because it wasn't true. But nobody wanted to mess with that girl. Nobody. Because it didn't matter how attractive she was. All them guys that were pursuing her, man, and wanted something to do with her, they all were like, hell no. And she lived a very lonely life. And, where I was living at, and I was military, then I relocated. I don't know what happened to her, but I know her ass used to be out in the club and nobody would talk to her. And she was very attractive. Body, everything. Very beautiful young lady. But anyway, you come out there doing shit like that, you know what I'm saying? And making something seem like something it really ain't. It makes people kind of not want to deal with your ass. And with Devin Haney coming out here fighting, a fair fight. Well, I put it this, fighting a fight. Ryan Garcia had Austrian in him. But to come now and the thing about battery, whether you agree with Devin and them suing or not, it makes a person say, well, hold on a second now. what precedent we're trying to set here? Because you're suing this man for battery, you're suing him for this, you're suing him for that, and obviously if you listen to Ryan, he's like, look, it's not true. Yeah, this stuff was in my system, tainted subs, whatever. So what happened is Ryan's created enough doubt for people to side with him. Now I'm gonna say this: it was in his system, done deal, case closed, right? I'll let other channels and people argue about that Ryan and Devin bullshit. I'm just saying it was in his system. But I'll also say this: no matter how attractive a fight with Devin was to people at the time, no matter how much they wanted to get in that ring with him, just like them cats wanted to go out there and chase after that girl, once some shit like that comes out, hey, this is what she's doing, this is what she said, or this is what Devin's doing, this is what he's saying. It doesn't matter if you agree or disagree. It makes a person think 2-3 times before even really interacting with them or pursuing them. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's exactly what's happening here with Devin. Fighters are like, what? And they're like, hell no. Because some fighters are gonna think Devin. Some fighters believe Ryan. They believe like, man, it's just like that chick. Ain't nobody trying to rape that girl. They're gonna be like, man, Ryan ain't have to cheat to beat him. That's exactly how they're gonna see it. And they ain't gonna want to deal with him because they're like, shit, if he did that to Ryan, what about us? And then the Victor Conte thing doesn't make anybody feel comfortable knowing how Victor. And that's one thing I'll say. That shit was odd. It was very unusual to me how Victor Conte started chirping up and talking about Devin and talking about Vada and talking about Ryan. And like Victor Conte was trying to push the narrative. Victor Conte was doing everything he could with his false expert testimony and his self-perceived positional power to really make Ryan look super guilty and Devin look like the super victim. And I don't understand that. But what I will tell you is that shit didn't help Devin at all. So you got fighters out here saying shit. If something happened to me and Devin, I got to deal with him. I got to deal with Victor Conte. I got to deal with Vada. I got to deal with all this squirrely shit. They're just like, man, I'd rather not deal with the headache. You know what I'm saying? All money ain't good money. Anyway, we'll see what happens with the future holds. Devin Haney, it looks like they're trying to target Tank Davis. Some people think that Devin Haney can beat Tank Davis. I personally think they're just throwing his name out there just to, create a buzz. I don't think Devin Dad will put him in there with Tank. I just don't think so. And if they were to fight, I think Tank Davis knocks him out, violently knocks him out. And I think Tank will get up for that fight. I think Devin will get up for that fight. I just think Tank Davis would eventually catch up to him, and it would be lights out. Anyway, curious to see what happens with Devin. The more I really start to try to peel the layers back on him and his situation, I think Devin's in a bad space. That's just my opinion. But maybe Turkey Al-Sheikh can get involved and, say, hey, I put the money up, I want to, but, Turkey Al-Sheikh has to want to see you in the ring. So if Turkey Al-Sheikh don't want to see Devin in the ring, and there's not a fight he wants to see between Devin and someone else, Turkey Al-Sheikh he don't care. He got other things going on. Anyway, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. These fighters don't want to be sued. They don't want to deal with that crap. But at the same time, Devin and his dad, they have every right to sue. Every right. Will they win? I don't know. But if that's what they want to do, they can do it. In the breeze.